So good morning and welcome to Dino's Garage for the Vn900 Custom. So just the other evening we got to the point where we took off all of the back part here where the panniers went and the backrest. There were black plastic trims on this bit, so we're now down to the steel frame. I'll show you a close-up of this in a second, but this is a little bit rusty again underneath where it's not been washed and cleaned. Today actually is MOT day for me, so that basically means that I'm taking the bike out to the testers and they'll go through the normal sort of things that they do annually, where they test the lights, the horn, the brakes, just the general running mechanics of the bike, and hopefully it'll pass and then I'll be able to get on and ride the bike proper. But yeah, not sure what you do in your various countries or you YouTubers there, but here in England, yeah, we have an annual MOT test for our cars and motorcycles, and that's what I'm going to be tackling today, just sort of pre-MOT checks. I know I have a problem with this switch on this front brake to the back light there, the actual stop light. So it may just be a little connection. The switch itself stands to work fine, so it could just be a little connection electrically. So yeah, I'm going to go through a few things, make sure it's alright, and then hopefully, like I say, it'll pass its test. So the switch in question is this one here. Basically one screw underneath the brake lever, and this switch, which is operated as you pull the lever, just operates electronically, like I say, positive and negative on a switch, and it just makes the backlight, brake light go on or off. But I have a problem with this one, so it could be inside the switch, it could just be a connection, simple cleaning of the connections on here, but I'll just show you the backlight and demonstrate what I mean by it not working. So that's the backlight on, and if I press with the ordinary foot operated switch, you can see the back brake light works, and if I use this one, nothing at all. So first we'll start by just wiggling off these. Let's try and focus on that for you. And as you can see, there's a fair bit of corrosion on there. So we'll start by cleaning that with a bit of sandpaper and then connect it back up and see whether or not it's just those connectors. Even put a little bit of sandpaper or something in the actual wires in here. Into a little bit of sandpaper or something in here, just to try and clean up inside there as well. So one thing we can do, just to check whether it's the wiring further down the system, whether it's just simply the switch. I have cleaned the connections and I've cleaned connections on the switch now, is just to test this by putting a bit of wire in both sides and basically sort of jumping through as a loop, because in fact that's what the switch does. So when I do this, we should then see the light come on and off. Let's just go and have a look at that and see if that is working. So one thing we can do, just to check whether it's the wiring further down the system, whether it's just simply the switch. I have cleaned the connections and I've cleaned connections on the switch now, is just to test this by putting a bit of wire in both sides and basically sort of jumping through as a loop, because in fact that's what the switch does. So when I do this, we should then see the light come on and off. Let's just go and have a look at that and see if that is working. So there you go, you can see that the light is coming on and off. Just that's me wiggling that wire around, making a connection inside those connectors. So we know that part of the circuitry is working, it's just simply the switch that isn't. Saves you a lot of time just knowing that it's the switch. So that's the brake light fully on without wire in there at the moment. Let's go back to sorting that switch out. Right, so here's our switch. Now these are pretty much sealed units to some degree. They're very cheap, these switches, but of course if you don't have spares and you get a problem like I do, you need to try and open them up. Now hopefully we can find a way of opening this one up. It has got a little bit there that clicks on. Just going to grab a thin bladed screwdriver. Let's see if we can prise this open. Right, there we go. So we're in. So that's the switch inside. Just two simple contacts. The chances are those contacts are just dirty enough not to be making that electrical contact, so I'm just going to clean them with a bit of fine sandpaper, then test it on the bike. So I've made a stick, if you like, just by folding up a bit of 1000 grit sandpaper, and if it's too thick it won't go between the contacts, but if it's just right you can open the contacts up and just clean between the two. So let's just test that switch again, see whether it works now. So this is the back brake first, and now the front. So there we go, all good now. That's the front brake operating the switch. All good. So on this area here, which is the still part of the frame, where we've removed all the sort of luggage carriage, etc., I'm just going to clean this up before putting those plastic trims back on, and clean up this part of the fender. Obviously once things are on, they're on, so give it a good clean now. So I'll do the same as I did before. Black T-cut. Let's go and get those black trims on. So I've given this a little bit of a clean up on the inside. Obviously the idea being with this that fits on there like that, covers over part of the frame anyway. So basically you have these little rubber on the back and it works as a spacer. Luckily I happen to have from previous projects some lovely stainless steel bolts that are the perfect size. I think this is a 10mm thread, and that will wind into there. I'll just go and get the right size Allen key now and then just tighten those up. Perfect. Do the other side now. Now on this side of the frame, where the bike's been leant over, you've got this green algae. just where it's come off the saddle. But that green should come off nice and easy. Still got a bit of surface rust on here, but my intention is not to get this whole bike completely stripped down like I did with the 800. My intention is to ride this bike, use this bike. So whilst we have got a little bit of surface rust in places, it's not the end of the world. It's better, but it's not perfect yet. So, welcome back to Dino's Garage for the VN. Good news, the bike went through its MOT test and passed with flying colours. Only advisories were the Vance and Hines were a little bit loud. Oh well. And yeah, no other issues. The front brake the brake light that we sorted out held up fine, no problems there. So yeah, all good. Now got a year's MOT. Now let's get on and polish and clean and make this bike look a lot better than it currently is. So thanks for watching Dino's Garage and the VN900 Custom.